Wednesday. Who better to have live in the studio than the England coach Sven-Göran Eriksson? Questions and hopefully answers coming up. And joining Sven is the man who inflicted Sven's first defeat in tournament qualification. Laurie Sanchez is joined by Mark Lawrenson. England suffered one of the biggest upsets in international football on Wednesday night when they lost 1-0 to Northern Ireland. While the plaudits quite rightly went to the Northern Irish camp, defeat for England means they must now win their last two qualifiers to secure their place in Germany. Garth Crooks reports on a baffling night for Beckham & Co in Belfast.
Davis. It's a good ball. The flag stays down. Heaney! Oh! It's legendary that I say. Can you believe it? But can you believe it?
I think we made them believers tonight, though. I think, you know, I said it was about belief to win. I think I went on the party 1, perhaps 2, not believing it. By half time, we had 11 believed it, and we were magnificent second half, and the best team won it.
So, on the proudest of nights for this small nation, Sven's left pondering his flawed formation.
We shut down the experiment. It had long gone out of hand.
4 years in the job, and yet you still seem to be tinkering with the formation. And yet it's the formation that appears to make people look uncomfortable.
Well, I don't think so. I think more or less all the players played in normal positions today. So I think that's not the case, in my opinion.
This formation is not just for me solely. You know, the formation is what the manager believes in. You know, it's not about me as a player. It's not about me performing well and the others not, because at the end of the day, the team has to perform well. And we didn't perform well again tonight.
Whatever went wrong on Wednesday, whether it was caused by the system, a lack of motivation, or the doubts about who was actually in charge, the result was one of England's worst ever. While some of the vilification towards Sven has been extreme, the cold truth is simple. World Cup qualification is in doubt.
We sat in the dressing room afterwards for quite a while, and the manager had his say, and we all felt that we didn't want to feel like that again. It was a bad feeling. It was hurting us, and I'm sure we'll be remembering that going into these last two games, thinking we can't feel that hurt again and do something about it on the pitch.
In the time you've been in the job, I've never heard England fans call for your head. Is this something that will worry you?
No, it doesn't worry me. I can understand the fans, but we have 2 games to get it right, and that's it. And hopefully it's good that October is very close.
Well, Sven, a warm welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
I must begin by asking you, why have you decided to come out and have your say almost?
Well, I think if you are a manager for a club or for a country, things going wrong, you have to speak out, and here I am, and I'm ready to answer your questions.
Do you accept that you made a mistake with the formation against Northern Ireland?
Well, I don't think so. I think when you lose football games, everything is bad, and you can find errors everywhere. It's always like that. But I don't think the formation was a problem, absolutely not, because the first 35 minutes, I think we did extremely well. We played football as we wanted to play. We moved the ball, and our goalkeeper Robinson almost never touched the ball in 35 minutes. And something happened out there, and we couldn't get it right. Even if we tried, half-time we tried during second half, but we lost the spirit, and Northern Ireland beat us, and you have to accept that.
I've used the word baffling a little earlier, and I suppose it's the only way I can use to describe certain aspects of Wednesday night. You made some changes, lone striker playing up front in a 4-5-1 formation. Wayne Rooney was trapped perhaps on the left-hand side, perhaps hemmed in. These are one of perhaps 4 or 5 things, including David Beckham, in the holding midfield role, surpassing perhaps playing over the likes of Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard.
Well, as I said, when you lose, everything is wrong. But if you think about the first 35 minutes, Rooney outside, he played excellent. All the team played excellent. And then we lost it. And unfortunately, this season, the 3 games we played, we don't play as we did at the end of last season. We haven't got the form. We are not aggressive. We don't win second balls, and a lot of those things. And I think this has very little to do with the formation. Absolutely, that's my opinion, because we can play like this. Of course we can, and we can play 4-4-2. We can play whatever, and we showed it many times. So it's up to me now to get it right, and we have to get it right before we meet up for the October games, because there we have to win, and that's it.
Now, your ability to control Wayne Rooney has perhaps been put under the microscope as well. We saw perhaps in the friendly against Spain a few months back that he was quite clearly close to being sent off, and it almost came to that again against Northern Ireland. Do you find it difficult to perhaps control a player who's always playing on the edge almost?
Well, he's that kind of player, always playing to the edge of everything, and he's doing it very well. This was a stupid challenge, of course it was, and he could even have been sent off there. So it's always a difficult thing to know, shall you take him off or not when things like this happen. Unfortunately, he and the rest of the team after this accident, we lost our spirit totally, and Northern Ireland were more aggressive. They started to win every second ball, and we couldn't keep the ball neither. So after this, I'm sorry to say it, but I think that's one of the reasons why we lost the game.
But wasn't also one of the sources of Wayne Rooney's frustration the fact that he was being played out of position?
No. He played exactly how he plays for Manchester United. And we talked about it before, and now he's starting to the right at Manchester United. Last season he was to the left, but absolutely no difference.
We know what England cannot do without Wayne Rooney. You're losing him now for the game against Austria.
Unfortunately, yes, and someone other has to take his place, and I don't know today who that's going to be, but we will find one, and we're going to beat Austria and then Poland and win the group.
Let's look at the substitutions you made on Wednesday night. Sean Wright-Phillips came off for Joe Cole. And also, rather baffling, when Owen Hargreaves came on with 10 minutes to go, when there was almost a shrug of the shoulders from David Beckham. Did that perhaps speak more?
No, David Beckham played more to the right when Owen Hargreaves came on, because at that point I needed legs out there, because we were not running anymore. And Owen Hargreaves, he has legs. That's why he came on.
But he's a defensive midfielder, is he not?
He can play everywhere. He is a defensive midfielder, yes. But normally, he can play left back, he can play outside right, outside left, wherever.
Sven, why did you feel the need just to change the formation? Not the fact of whatever it was, but every time England have played, generally they've been good, has been 4-4, Rooney playing off Owen. I mean, I think that's what most people can't quite understand, especially in a qualification game.
Well, as I said before, if you look at the 3 games we played this season, we have not played good football.
No.
If we played 4-4-2, as we did against Denmark, second half was not good at all.
No.
So when you see things like second half against Denmark, you have to try to do something.
But your best team wasn't out then. What I'm trying to say is when you've had your best team out, and in fairness, that's the first time that you've had a defeat in qualification, but when you've had your best team out, it's been 4-4, Rooney sort of playing off. Oh, and I think what most people are looking at and thinking, why move Rooney about? Because he's a fantastic talent. I think everybody agrees with that. And yes. I think he's brilliant at finding space. And you get the feeling watching him when he keeps getting moved, its frustration is because he's not getting involved in the game. And he's a bit sort of He's arguably England's best player on his day.
Well, I think first half he played very well until he got booked. Absolutely fantastic.
Do you think he has... I mean, I can't agree with that, because there's no way for me he has the same influence playing out wide as he can through the middle. But the other thing as well is, I think, when you look where Beckham's played in the last couple of games, you look at Gerrard and you look at Lampard, and it's almost as though they're saying, well, where are we going? What are we doing? I just, you know, and there's such good players.
I understand what you mean, but if you talk about the 3 games we played this season, no one can agree that it was the right formation. We played second half against Denmark, and that was our best team, as you said.
But so, but I mean, what I'm saying is that, I mean, in the first half it was fine against Denmark, wasn't it?
It was okay.
And then you made changes, which is fine.
As it was
yeah, but I'm just saying,
on Wednesday.
why the need to change it? It's, you know, we have a saying in this country, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, it's not broken.
Right. I mean, I may be totally wrong. I don't think you'll play that way against Austria in the next game, will you?
Probably not. But if you talk about the formation, organisation, we have to get the right spirit. That's the most important thing.
And I think, well, I must admit as well, it's not really been mentioned by many people, the players have to take a great deal of blame for the other night as well, don't they?
We all
they do, because if you play and you don't play, yeah, of course you do. Well, you're getting it from everyone, aren't you? You're getting it from all sides.
I get it from everywhere, and I think it might be fair, not be fair. But anyhow, that I should resign, because we lost...
Was that resign or re-sign?
Well, because we lost 1 qualification games of 20.
It's his fault, I know, it's his fault.
I was going to bring...
21.
Yeah, Sven, I was going to say, Laurie, thanks for being so patient, and congratulations on Wednesday night. It appears your team had the team spirit that perhaps England were lacking.
I think there's an old saying in football that football players win football matches and managers lose them, and that's the way the critics always look at it. It isn't a case of one or the other. But ultimately, you know, as a player, you know, from the time you start kicking the ball, you've played in every system going. You've played in the Dutch all-total football system. At your school, you're brought up in all different types of systems. Ultimately, it's not about systems, it's about players. Players wanting to win football matches, players prepared to put themselves to the perhaps backwards to the benefit of the team. It certainly was for us on Wednesday night. And it is a players' game. Obviously, when it's lost, the first person everybody looks at is the manager. And, you know, from my own point of view, you know, I'm being feted in Northern Ireland at the moment as, you know, a great manager because of what we've achieved over the last 2 games. Going into the 2 games, the 2 World Cup qualifiers, people were saying, well, if we don't beat Azerbaijan, my honeymoon period is over. It's well and truly over. And that is management, I'm afraid. That is the game we're in. And, you know, with decisions... and it's not for me to tell the FA, but obviously England will qualify for this, I have no doubt. And to talk about changing the manager during a qualification period is ridiculous. I mean, Sven is brought in to take the team to major championships. He's done it twice. First qualifying game is lost, and they'll qualify for this one. I'm sure now they know the chips. Yeah, but, you know, some of the stuff you read in the paper is absolutely rubbish.
When you were saying total football, that wasn't Wimbledon, was it?
No, that's my school team. We played the Dutch total football in our school team, and we could do that as kids. To say to players they can't cope with formation is ridiculous.
Sven, can you motivate your players like Laurie did on Wednesday?
Well, I can, and I think we showed it many times with England, as I did with all the clubs I had previous. Just because I'm not shouting, I think shouting has nothing to do with motivation or passion or whatever you say. Of course I care about the team. I'm desperate when we're losing. I'm not shouting, but I'm desperate, and of course I want England to play in the World Cup, and we will do that. I'm putting my own reputation on this as well, because if we don't go to the World Cup, I will not have a job, that's for sure. Not in this country, maybe not in other countries as well. So it's very easy. I care, I can motivate, of course I can.
Can I just say, I mean, it does seem silly to me. I mean, Sven's won 17 major trophies. I mean, I think Sir Alex Ferguson, one of the Italian managers, the only 2 managers to win more major trophies. You don't win trophies without being able to motivate a team, so that's ridiculous talk. OK, well, what did you think then about England's display? Focus has launched a new service where, as well as sending us emails and texts, you can now send us your views through a 3G video message. Sven, just take a look at this.
realistically, they need